Hey, this is journal page 56, lesson 3.3. And solve the equations, check your solution. Number 1, y plus 12 equals negative 26. Well, to solve the equation means to isolate the variable. So we are adding 12, we'll subtract 12. We can't just do it from one side, we do it from both sides. This plus 12 and this minus 12 will cancel each other out because we're adding opposites here. We get 0. We're left with just y on this side. And over here we've got negative 26 and negative 12. Same sign, add and keep, negative 38. To check it, we put negative 38 in place of y. Negative 38 plus 12 equals negative 26. Different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the larger one, and we get negative 26 equals negative 26. That's our check. Very good. Very good, Mr. Brooks. Oh, thank you, Mr. Brooks. You shouldn't say that. That's awesome. 15 plus c equals negative 12. Here we were adding 15 to c. Remember, just the commutative property, I could rewrite that as c plus 15 equals negative 12, if that makes you more comfortable. Now we subtract 15 from both sides. And we're left with c equals negative 12, and negative 15 gives us negative 27. To check this, we go to the original equation. 15 plus negative 27 equals negative 12. Well, here we have different sign. Subtract. 27 minus 15 is 12. Keep the sign of the larger, which is negative. There's our check. Worked out. Number 3. Negative 16 equals d plus 21. It's not time to freak out just because our variable's on the right-hand side now. We just do everything the same. We want to get d by itself, so we'll subtract 21. We have to subtract it from both sides. D equals, and same sign, add and keep. We'll rewrite the equation, except we'll substitute in what we think d is, negative 37. So negative 37 plus 21. Different sign, subtract. So I subtract 21 from 37 and I get 16. Keep the sign of the larger, negative 16. Ding. Number 4. N plus 12.8 equals negative 0.3. Okay, well, we're done with integers now. Now they're going to start throwing decimals and fractions at us. No big deal. Subtract 12.8 from both sides. When I subtract over here, I'm going to line up the decimals. I should have written this a little neater, but line up the decimals so that it's easier for me to actually do that. These will cancel out, leaving me with n. And same sign, so I'm going to add and keep. So I'm going to keep the negative. I'm going to put the negative there right now so I don't forget later. 3 plus 8 is 11. 2 plus 0 plus 1 is 3. Don't forget to bring down the decimal, and then just a 1. So now we'll check it. Negative 13.1 plus 12.8 equals negative 0.3. Different sign, subtract. When I subtract those, I do get 0.3. Negative because the negative was larger. So negative 0.3 equals negative 0.3. Ding. Number 5. That one means nothing. I'll box it in because I like it so much. 1 and 1/8 equals g minus 4 and 2/5. Yeeks. Fractions. Ugh. Well, no big deal. We'll turn these into improper fractions. 8 plus 1 is 9, so I have 9/8 equals g minus 22/5. I'm going to want common denominators. 40 works out. So this would be multiply top and bottom by 5 here. 45 over 40 equals G minus multiply top and bottom by 8 here. 40 on the bottom. 22 times 8. I'll do that over here in the margin. And 22 times 8 would give me 176. Okay, so how do I get rid of this? I will add 176 40ths to both sides. Oh. These cancel out, leaving me with G on this side. And over here I've got 45 40ths plus 176 40ths. Same sign, they're both positive. And 45 and 176, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 221 40ths. To check this one, whooey, is ugly. So guess what? I'm not. So 221 over 40, if I wanted to, I could turn it into a mixed number. You don't have to. It's already in simplest form. But 40 goes into 225 times with 21 left over. Either of those would be acceptable answers. Number 6. Negative 5.47 plus K equals negative 14.19 or negative 14 in 1900ths. So I want K by itself. Here, we could say, well, I have a negative 5.47. I'll have to put a positive 5.47 there, which will look like adding 5.47 to both sides. It might be easier to see if I turn these two around and I had K plus a negative 5.47 equals negative 14.19. It's a little easier to see. Plus a negative is the same thing as just K minus 5.47 equals negative 14.19. These are all the same problem. I just switch these around using the commutative property and then combine this plus and a minus just to make a negative. You don't have to do that. You could just look at that and just keep it the first equation here. And to get rid of a negative 5.47, I'll put a positive 5.47 because then we're adding opposites and they'll disappear, which is what we want. So in the end, all I'm doing is adding 5 and 47 hundredths. Not a very straight line this time. Adding 5 and 47 hundredths. These cancel, leaving me with K. Different sign, so I am subtracting. The larger absolute value is negative, so my answer will be negative. I'm putting that right now because I'll forget it later. 9 minus 7 is 2. 1 minus 4 I can't do. 11 minus 4 is 7. 13 minus 5 is 8. And it was negative. Write the word sentence as an equation, then solve. So for number 7, this was number 6. For number 7, 42 less than x is negative 50. 42 less than x is actually x minus 42 is negative 50. Add 42 to both sides. X equals, different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the larger, negative. And then let's check that. Negative 8 minus 42 equals negative 50. Same sign, add and keep. Ding, number 8. 32 is the sum. 32 is the sum of a number z and 9. Sum means we're adding z and 9. Subtract 9 from both sides. Z on the right-hand side. 32 minus 9, different sign, subtract. 23, keep the sign of the larger. And then we'll check it. 32 equals 23 plus 9. 32 equals 32. Yay, so happy. A clothing company makes a profit of 2.3 million. This is 4.1 million more than last year. What is the profit from last year? So it makes a profit of 2.3 million. This is 4.1 million more than last year. What was it from last year? So we'll use a variable for last year. Let's call it L. And it says 2.3 million is 4.1 million more than last year. So L plus 4.1. I'll subtract 4.1 from each side. Last year was different sign, subtract. I have to put this 4.1 on top to be able to subtract these two. 1.8. Last year, keep the sign of the larger, which is the negative. The company lost 1.8 million. So what was the profit last year? The profit last year was negative 1.8 million. That's not very good. And finally, number 10. A drop on a wooden roller coaster is negative 98.5 feet. A drop on a steel roller coaster is 101/4 feet lower than the drop on the wooden roller coaster. What is the drop on the steel roller coaster? So the steel roller coaster is this many feet lower than the wooden roller coaster, and here's the wooden roller coaster. So here's the wooden, negative 98.5, and it's this many feet lower, so we'll subtract that, 101/4. Well, our variable is already by itself, but we do have to simplify this side. Negative 98.5, negative 101/4. Well, a half is just 2/4. Same sign, add and keep. So 198, 2/4 and 1/4 is 3/4. Keep the sign. So the steel roller coaster is negative 198 3/4 feet. It says, what is the drop? So a little confusing because the drop is 198 3/4 feet. The drop, it's not a drop and a negative. That would almost be like it's actually going up. So what is the drop on the steel roller coaster? It's dropping this much. So I'm going to put dropping 198 3/4 feet. Excellent. Well, if you have any questions, make sure you're asking in class, coming into my seminar, coming into tutoring, commenting in the video, whatever you need to do. Have a good night.